Hi, good afternoon. I'm Andrew from TalkingESL.com. Welcome to another video. Today I want to continue from the video we put up yesterday, which is connected with language teaching methodologies throughout time. I wanted to continue to take this a little bit further to see how we apply this in our classrooms these days. Hopefully in yesterday's video identified some techniques that you use and some that you don't use but are aware of. The idea with today is to take this a little bit further into the modern world where generally the method is the textbook. This can be a good thing and a bad thing. I'd like to look at how to help amplify what we do with textbooks and more specifically connected with grammar. So the first question I have today is grammar important? Well, some courses that we teach in schools focus completely on grammar and provide us with little linguistics students or little grammarians who know the grammar of the language inside out. Doesn't necessarily mean they can speak it, much like the grammar translation method we looked at in yesterday's video. Other modern course books focus on communication with a very scant element of grammar. So the question is grammar important? Well, the answer I've received over years of teaching is obviously yes, grammar is important. Without the grammar, how do we put the nouns, adjectives, adverbs together, and how do we communicate effectively? So we do need an understanding of grammar. We've got to draw the balance between being a grammarian and a user of the language. I think what we're trying to teach these days are people to use the language, to be language users. So with that in mind, I'm going to launch a mini series of videos here on TalkingESL.com about how grammar can be introduced totally in context to the students. So the first thing I have here is, well, textbooks, as we can see here. If you, like me, work in a language academy, or maybe you work in a university, you own a language academy, or you're learning a language with textbooks, you'll understand that they're expensive to buy. And because they're expensive, often each year there's a lot of pressure put on teachers to finish the book because the parents and perhaps the directors of the school you're working at understand that books are expensive and therefore they want to do a book a year. Therefore each year you must complete the textbook. You must complete the textbook. And each month you have to plan which units, which activities you're going to do with the objective of completing the book by the end of the course. Okay. Other issues with textbooks is that while they can provide a sort of capture-all method for teachers to employ, especially if they use a teacher's book connected with the book, it can result in quite a boring class, uninspiring. And if the teacher is not inspired or finds the material boring, guess what? So will the learners. So the idea will be to step outside the book a little bit to make it more interesting and to help your learners, or if you're a student, to help yourself get more from your book. Another phrase I have here is, I don't know if you can see this, I hope you can, grammar Mcnuggets. Now this was coined by Scott Thornbury. Some of you may have seen him on the internet or indeed at conferences and seminars. A very famous teacher of teachers. The term grammar Mcnuggets is basically because the grammar that we teach through textbooks are small components of grammar which are taken out of context. They're not kind of real. It's not the way we speak. We don't speak in the present simple all the time, nor do we speak in the present continuous all the time. We'll use a blend of these tenses. So, with that in mind, what I'd like to suggest to begin with is a little bit of theory as to how to improve grammar teaching, just to begin with. The first thing in a textbook, or a normal way of presenting grammar, is to give the students real language in context. So this normally comes by way of an article to read, or perhaps a listening activity, which presents a new piece of grammar frequently during the text or during the listening activity. So this is quite a good way to introduce something. They kind of learn it inductively. They're feeling their way about it. You're not explaining it explicitly on the board like in the grammar translation method. and saying, okay, we'll do verb drills. I play, you play, he plays, and so on. No. The next thing we look for is that the students understand the gist, not the form. So they get the idea of what these grammatical points mean, but they don't necessarily fully understand the structure, okay? But they understand that we're talking in the present. This is a continuous activity, or we're talking in the past. Maybe we're using the present perfect or the past simple, but they understand what point in time we're talking about and what message this grammar is trying to convey. They get the general idea, maybe not the fine detail at this point. Then we move up to more specific meaning. So we may give them more examples of this grammar in different contexts, or answer specific questions that they may have regarding what these new structures mean. But all the time we're moving up towards a higher level of thinking, which is something that I'm using here called Bloom's Taxonomy of Learning, which I'll do another class on in the future, because we're just at the beginning with talking ESL right now, but I do have a series of plans of videos I would like to do. The next thing, we move to the real higher level of thinking, analysis and systemization. This is where we analyze the grammar. This is where we iron out any doubts that the students have. This is where they internalize it, they put the systems into their brains, they understand how it works, and they can use it. Key thing. Then, give some practice exercises. This could be some speaking, some targeted grammatical speaking questions. It could be another listening activity, another text to read, but something that repeats these parts of grammar over again, just so it goes into the students' brains completely and thoroughly. Later, recycle and repeat. It quite often happens in schools, particularly if we're using a textbook-driven curriculum, that, okay, it's September, it's the beginning of the year. The book says, let's go for the present simple, and perhaps the next couple of weeks later, the present continuous. So we make a huge amount, we give a huge amount of effort to teach these grammatical points to these students, and then forget about them for the rest of the year. Well, if we forget to teach them, they forget what they've learned. So we need to recycle and repeat the grammar constantly during the course throughout the year to ensure that the students progress and they don't forget what we've invested in previous classes. Okay? So, just to go back to textbooks, we use them everywhere. I mean, I've got a bookcase here full of them. There's literally about 100 textbooks here, and we use them. But that doesn't mean to say it's a Bible. It's not the only method we can use. We can enhance them, we can make them better. Quite often, you go into a class or you go to observe somebody teaching, and it's okay, let's get everybody in, let's get everybody sitting down, do some introductory activities, and now let's open the textbook to chapter number 2, because today we're going to look at the present continuous. And then there's basically some of this process is done, so they get some of the real language in context. They may be given the opportunity to get the gist of what's happening. Failing that, the teacher will then go straight into a full grammatical explanation of the present continuous in isolation, not connected to any other verb tenses. Then they may move on to the past simple or the past continuous and try to build an understanding in this way, just by opening the textbook and vomiting what happens to be on the page. We need to do a little bit more than this to keep our learners engaged, and we can do a lot more than this to make the learning process more natural so far as grammar is concerned. So, the next video I'm going to do is going to be the first in a teaching series of how to enhance the textbooks, maybe how to look at a different way of teaching grammar or learning grammar to help get the most out of the classes that you do. And the way I do it doesn't detract from the occasional necessity of speed to finish the textbook. We just take time out to invest in good, thorough teaching, and then when it comes to seeing different grammar points which are presented in isolation in the textbooks, well, the students already understand, they've already analysed what's happening. So it actually, although it takes a little bit of investment in time at the beginning, in the long run, it's a far quicker process. So that will be the next video that I'd like to upload. Okay, And well, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching these videos. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please comment below. If you have any questions or would like some advice about your own teaching or learning practice, or any areas of the English as a second language sphere that you're unsure about, please contact us at contact@talkingesl.com, and we'll get in touch with you to discuss what you would like to ask about. Also, there are no adverts. This channel, the website, we will not be having adverts. It's advert free. And the way we can maintain this purely is by donations from you. So if you think these podcasts are good, please head over to talkingesl.com and make a small donation if you can. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.